Welcome back to another episode of 10/8 TV. This episode is special because September is National Drug and Alcohol Addiction Recovery Month. What some citizens may not know is our correctional facility is home to the first known addiction recovery pod in the state of Florida. We are incredibly proud of the work our corrections services team does to help reduce recidivism and get incarcerated men and women the help they need. Take a look.
18, 19 is when I started using heavier drugs. I started smoking pot though when I was like 13, 14, like most kids do. My parents were both drug addicts. So when my mom went to prison, I kind of like just gave up on life. And that's when I found meth.
Michael Shaver is a frequent inmate at Sarasota County's correctional facility. He was just released last year before relapsing and landing back in jail. But this time is different. He wants to make a change.
I've seen both sides of life. I know there's something better, and I really want that bad.
He requested to be moved from his regular cell to the addiction recovery pod, where he'd have a fighting chance to beat his addiction.
I'm in this program because I've spent a lot of time in and out of jail since I was about like 19. I'm 30 now. So I decided to come in here because I've heard about the recovery pod and I know that it really changes people's lives, and that's what I'm really striving for.
We have classes every single day in the recovery pod starting at 7:30 in the morning, and they go throughout the day.
Some of them are AA, some of them are NA. We got brain science, we got anger management, we got fatherhood.
It's because of our more than 50 volunteers who come in and teach and share their recovery stories that this program is possible.
The idea behind the program is, one, hopefully save lives, and two, reduce recidivism in our county.
Deputy Zachariah has worked in this pod for 13 years.
We try to keep it focused with a good balance of recovery and therapy with the jail. So they have to be reminded that it is jail first, but we're also in a place of recovery, trying to get you better when you leave.
You can get out of the system, you can stay out of the system.
The recovery program is a supportive environment where like-minded inmates live in a pod together, working to address and overcome their addiction.
You have to want it badly enough to go through every obstacle like you did to get your drugs and alcohol. You have to make that same kind of effort to get your recovery.
And that's exactly what Bob Collins did.
And I learned this. I can give up everything to have one thing, or I can give up one thing to have everything. I've been down both streets. And believe me, giving up one thing to have everything is absolutely the better way to go.
Bob is an alumni of the pod. He once sat in these same seats, wearing orange, addicted to drugs.
I was a functional addict for a long time. I didn't think I had a problem because I was able to keep a job. I was able to pay bills, but at some point in time, the addiction took over my life. But after sitting in this pod for a few months, through meetings, through men who came in and told me their story, I thought to myself, if it worked for them, maybe, just maybe, it might work for me.
And it did. He's now a volunteer with the program, and every Sunday he brings a message of hope.
What I try and do is just encourage them, stay on the path, and the miracle will happen.
If an inmate doesn't follow the rules of the pod or show an effort towards recovery, they'll be removed, opening one of the 48 spots for another inmate.
This recovery pod is $1 million opportunity, and only 5% of the inmates have an opportunity to be in this pod at any given time. I've seen people who've struggled for 10, 20 years finally be able to put together continued sobriety as a result of being in this pod.
Michael is hoping to be another success story, and he's on the right track, already on step 11 of a 12-step recovery process.
The addiction, like I'm realizing that it's not all my fault. You know, that there's things that it stems from, but it's my job to utilize the resources in order to better myself.
Michael attributes a lot of his progress to Deputy Zachariah.
Zach is really, really awesome. He treats us like we're human beings, and he actually genuinely cares about us. And I know he's made an impact on a lot of people here, and I definitely want to thank him for everything that he's done.
It's not really my job to judge them. It's my job to do what I feel I can do to help them not come back and stay out there and be a productive member of society. For some it works, for some it doesn't, but if we don't try, we don't know.
I think the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office is moving in a very good direction, but we need help. We need help from the outside community to understand that substance abuse is not a crime. It's not a crime. It's a disease.
And it's up to Ernest Brinson and Selma Irizarry as the correctional treatment specialist to prepare these inmates for release.
I think the trend for corrections has to be more treatment-based, because if we don't start treating these issues, we're just going to be incarcerating a problem that is never going to go away. We have to be more proactive.
After the recovery pod, they're introduced to the reentry pod.
From that point, Selma and I, we do certain behavioral classes with those guys to piggyback on the things they've learned from here.
For you personally, why help these inmates?
I mean, they're human beings like everybody else. They're our neighbors, they're our brothers, our sisters, our children. So if we don't help them, who is?
It's a passion these two have in common and work together to achieve.
I love helping these guys because this is a population that is forgotten. And, I think that God has put me here to help these guys.
If we look at it, however many lives that we've helped save and change throughout the years, never would have happened without this pod.